Okay. Um, Andre Ayew to contest for GFA president. What is the truth in that story? I've been meaning to do this video for a bit. Too many stories flying around. Um, I've spoken to a lot of people on this one, and this is what we know. So first up, it's true. Andre Ayew is very much interested in contesting Keto Kroku for GFA president. Uh, he's been consulting people. Um, he's been speaking to people. Some of the people that I know he's spoken to is former GFA president Kwesi Nyantakyi. So basically, at this point, it is still in the explorative stage because he needs to understand how the whole football ecosystem works. Andre is a player, has been a player of the national team for a long time, 18 years, but he doesn't know how a local football administration operates. That's what he's doing now, trying to understand how that operates, who the voting blocks are, who gets to vote, how he even gets to contest in the first place. Um, when he went to the Netherlands, he did a couple of management courses as well. I can tell you guys that. Sports management courses where he believes that he's learned something in the classroom to go with his practical experience of playing football. But playing football to the highest level is one thing, running football to the highest level is another. And if you notice in Africa, the people who have run football to the highest level never played the game. So, and this CAT administration has been not just the CAT administration, in fact, the last few years, our football administration has not been kind to ex-players trying to enter the GFA. Um, Abedi Pele is one of them, Andre's father. And he tried to enter football administration from Nanya. We know what happened. And he completely lost interest. Since then, we haven't seen any players hover around the GFA. No chance. People have rumored Tony Baffle and all these other Pahimfo, all these other guys to try and get involved. None of them wants to get involved or can't get involved. It's simply because of the way the system is structured. And at the moment, it's structured in such a way that it is the GFA administration versus ex-players. And GFA administration just basically means the football people. And the football people are basically all the people that own football clubs in this country. And all of those people don't or are not good friends with a lot of the ex-players. Um, so Andre is trying to break that jinx. And a lot of Andre's motivation is also personal because deep down he believes that Keto Kreku was a big reason he got kicked out of the national team, kicked out in that sense. And so this seems like a way to try and show that he's got his own powers and he's got his own and that he has the ability to come into Ket space and disturb it a little bit. Um, now all of this is conditional and conditioned on Ket going for a third term, and Ket has not categorically said somewhere that he's going for a third term, but it's widely believed that Ket will go for a third term. Um, and so if that happens, Andre is hoping to be one of those people that goes against him. So at the moment, he's forming alliances. He's trying to get people in the football community to back him. There have to be legal hurdles to be crossed as well. For example, he has to be the director or of a football club in order to be able to contest. Once he picks the form, other directors of other football clubs have to endorse that form. So these are all the legal things that he needs to cross off. Obviously, we know that he wouldn't have a problem being a director of a club because his father owns Narnia FC. That's easy. We know that he probably also won't struggle to get a couple of signatures to endorse his form, but whoever is endorsing form has to know that they are Ket's enemy. And Ket has a few enemies in the football space who would willingly endorse Andre Ayew's form. So I don't think he will have issues there whatsoever. Um, but a lot of it will be dependent on what he is able to promise the football community. We know how Ket maintains a very strong um, or a stranglehold on this football administration is by dishing out a lot of goodies. We know he gives them football boots, he's bought some of them buses, um, and a whole lot. At the last World Cup, a lot of the regional FA bosses and a lot of club executives were flown to America um, to go and enjoy the World Cup. All of those favors come with a certain loyalty you need to pay back. And Ket knows exactly how to satisfy the people that have the power. And the Ghana football space is very small. Ghana football is big, but the people that make the decision, Congress, and the people that vote are only 121 members who have to go and decide who becomes the next GFA president. And it's not that difficult to please 121 members. It's not that difficult. As a very definite number, easy to get to every single one of them. But you don't need to get to every single one of them. You just need to get maybe 65 of them dedicated to you, and you become GFA president, or 70 of them and you're GFA president. It's easy to get to that number of people, make them promises, and deliver for them. But even Ket's own ability to go for a third term, it's also being fought very strongly by the people that are also backing Andre Ayew, a certain section of the football community. And I can tell you guys this, that the main actors are planning to probably go to court to contest this matter. And their contention isn't to necessarily throw away the idea of a third term, but is to go and seek interpretation on whether or not Ket can go for a third term, seeing that it was under his stewardship that a third term um, uh, statute was was um, was implemented or was introduced. So does he retroactively benefit? Can he retroactively benefit? So you see, even the football community themselves, the football people themselves, are not necessarily against the third term. They just want to know whether or not Ket can go for a third term, given that he was already elected on the statutes that promulgated the two term. So he got elected on the premise of a two term. So once it's now changed to three terms, can he still be a beneficiary of that? That I can tell you is what is going to be their main focus when they eventually go to court to try and seek out interpretation. And this, I can also tell you, is slightly linked to the John Mahama situation, whether or not John Mahama will also go for a third term in that court. If it comes out that, because that's also being an interpretation of that is also being sought, obviously. So if it comes out that Mahama can't do another term, then it's most likely that Ket can't do and will do another term. If not, then it makes Ket's chances also much more difficult. Um, and I say the GFA people, the people, even the people with Ket's own opponents are not necessarily against the third term thing because, look, when the normalization committee took over the running of the FA after number 12, and they were resetting the statute, they accused Nyotachi of abuse of power. Obviously, he also changed the constitution to go for 3 terms, and they brought it down to 2 terms. When they went to Congress, because they consulted a lot of the Congress members when they were making these changes. There were number of people that kicked against the two-term. In fact, majority of them kicked against the two-term. I can tell you one of the key people that kicked against the two terms and wanted the three terms maintained. It was George Free, because at the time he also believed he was going to win and wanted the third term, the three terms maintained. Once the three terms, and the people, the people who were supporting the two terms, it was Randy Abbey and Keto Kuku and all these other people who also didn't maybe believe at the time that they were going to win, and they didn't want the winner being there for three terms. So they said, let's go with the two terms. Today, they're the ones that have gone to make those changes to three terms, and the ones that were fighting the three terms are not the ones saying that and the ones that were in support of the three terms are not the ones saying Ket cannot do three terms. So it's a lot of self-interest, here and there. One thing I find a little bit bothering or bothering is the people that went and changed the statutes to go for three terms. You see, the GFA, there was a committee put in place called the Statutes Amendments Committee. Randy Abbey was a member of that committee. Chief Opong was a member of that committee. Chief Redikachi was a member of that committee. And a very interesting other member of that committee was now Odofole, who was a key member of the normalization committee. In fact, she was the legal brain of the normalization committee that put the two terms there. So what has changed? Why? I don't even understand why she's become another key part of the people that went and received the proposals to go and propose the three terms. I don't even think she should have been part of that, but maybe that's just, I see a bit of conflict there. Okay, so you came, you set up new statutes, you tried to avoid, to control and manage and prevent abuse of power and all these things. You're supposed to leave it alone and go away. Let different people come and make the changes so you can wash your hands off. But she was still a key member there anyway. And they sent the proposals to Congress, and then Congress obviously approved them. And so, yeah, that's that. I don't know. But so you see a lot of the things that Andrea Ayew is doing at the moment, also playing all these community gala competitions. It's going around. They played in Tema, they've gone to Kumasi recently. All of it is engaging people in those regions as well, and trying to garner a bit of support. He also has the support of a lot of the ex-players who have appeared to be sidelined by the current GFA administration. I can also tell you that the Ketegreko administration have reached out to them. I'm talking about PFAG, the ex-players, to offer them a seat at the table, possibly the position of a vice president at the GFA, guaranteed, in order to get their support. But the reception that they treated the letter with was not necessarily very positive, because they seem to be reading between the lines. They seem to think that the only reason Kat is reaching out to them is because he feels threatened by the Andrea Ayew angle or situation. Do I think Andrea Ayew has a real chance to win if he contests? Maybe not. Knowing who our football people are, they don't like outsiders. They like to keep things in a certain way because then they continue to benefit in a certain way. So anybody proposing any radical changes, you don't stand a chance. But will he get enough votes to probably raise eyebrows and probably position himself for the next one? Maybe, if he plays his cards well. This could really be his own introduction to football administration in the country. Because don't forget, Andre is a very charismatic figure. He's also got money, and not just personal money, he's got rich friends. You've seen him in conversations with Ibrahim Mahama and, calling him my boss and all those things. Andre will not be short of backers when he decides to contest or to enter football administration. So I would not be too naive to rule him out completely. If he does decide after all this consultation process to put his foot forward, I think it will change the entire dynamic of the next election. And it'll be very interesting what the space would look like over the next few years if he comes out publicly to declare his intention to contest. So that's the truth behind the whole Andre Ayew versus Ket drama. Do remember to subscribe, guys.